all that counts.
That's all that matters.
Okay, we're good. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. Need a motion to approve the minutes of the regular Board of Education meetings of 7/29/25 and 8/6/25. Anthony and Frank, all those in favor? Okay, that's everyone. Thank you. Okay, Dr. Farrelly.
Okay, good evening, everyone. We are very excited to welcome our 10-month staff and faculty members back for our Superintendent's Conference Day on Tuesday, and we are super duper excited to welcome all of our students back on Wednesday, September 3rd. Our hallways are so quiet and so empty. We need all of our kiddos back, so we're so excited to welcome everyone back. We ask all of our WFB families to please carefully read their welcome back mailing that was sent out to all families, and the Parent Square email messages that are being sent out from my office and also from our principals as well. Again, definitely go through those. If you need to update your email address or your phone number, please be sure to do that. We want to make sure that you can access the parent portal, right, and all the information in our student information system. Before we begin tonight's presentation on our athletics, I would like to just address a question that I received earlier today from a resident with regards to the Suffolk County Department of Health POD resolution that's included in tonight's agenda. She indicated that there was some confusion with regard to the purpose and the use of the POD by the district. We've done this beforehand, quite a number of years, not just us, but other school districts as well. Where we establish a memorandum of understanding, right, between the school district, New York State Department of Health, and Suffolk County, right? They make that request of various different districts that are located in different areas. That's in Suffolk County, that's also in Nassau County, that's really in terms of throughout New York State. And the purpose of it is simply to designate our district as a potential facility that could be used in the event of, God forbid, a public health emergency. Right, within the region. They establish kind of areas where they're good kind of regions and kind of centralized. To clarify and to be crystal clear, this does not involve myself, any principal, any school district official administering medicine or vaccines to students in any way, shape, or form. It has nothing to do with that at all. This is, again, the Department of Health is required to secure sites throughout each of the counties to serve, again, God forbid, as emergency points of dispensing if they're ever needed in a major emergency. Okay, so I just figured I would bring that up since that's on the agenda, and the resident indicated that there was some, confusion about that. As we prepare to welcome our students back for the 25-26 school year, I wanted to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude to the many individuals who have worked tirelessly to ensure we're ready for a strong start. Super exciting to get here to work and see all of our athletes out there playing. I think we had 300 and something athletes right, yesterday morning on various different fields. A huge thank you to our buildings and grounds, maintenance departments, IT department, transportation department, our administrators, our administrative office assistants, again, all of which are working on and have worked on so many different aspects of closing the school year and, again, getting us ready to start off a new school year. I also would like to take a moment to acknowledge all of the staff and faculty members who this year have had the added responsibilities to set up new instructional places or working spaces throughout the district. Again, thank you all for working together, focused on one common goal, the benefit of our students. So with that being said, I think we're ready. I don't believe we have any other statements.
No, I
so
didn't see anybody.
going to invite Baba, Mr. Pennerell, who will be leading us through an overview of our athletics program in our school district. And Mr. Hanley will also be chiming in at different points.
Chiming in. Is there another word for that?
No,
Can't
it's
say
my
it.
word. My word.
Interjecting or something?
Interjecting, chiming in.
Chiming in.
Red. We want red.
Be able to see it first.
Glasses, we need, yes, definitely.
Thank you. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you to the Board of Education and Central Administration for allowing me the opportunity to give a program overview of the athletic department tonight. Tonight, I will give you a little insight to the inner workings of the program as seen through the department lens in relation to programs, participation, events, athletic highlights, facilities and equipment, budgetary overview, future projects and challenges within the department. It's a great opportunity to kind of explore a little bit behind the scenes of what goes on. We did cover a few things throughout the year budget-wise, but this gives you a little more scenario of what goes on a daily basis. First of all, I know it's a very difficult slide to see with the writing, but what that is a slide of all sports by season. On this slide, you can see a listing of every athletic offering by season with the beginning and end dates of each season. Only on that sheet, the only unified dates are not included because they have not been uploaded to Section 11 yet with the designated start and end times. So you can see that by, if you really could see that. The next is an overview of an overall of the participation numbers. Here I've tracked the, oh, no, sorry, wrong slide. This is just a basic overview of our program. Illustrated here, you'll be able to see the offerings broke down by season, by level, by male and female offerings, as well as the total number of teams in the interscholastic athletic program. We've highlighted the number of coaches appointed for each season, as well as the total number of coaches throughout the year. Listed below that are the personnel that are overseen by the athletic department throughout the school year. You'll notice that it's besides coaches, there are our administrative assistants, our nurses, our physical education teachers, our athletic trainer, our equipment manager, for a total personnel that are overseen by the athletic department. And I know that's very difficult to see. On the yellow slide here, we tracked our participation numbers. Here I've tracked the participation numbers for the 2 years that I've been at WB, so you'll be able to delineate the numbers between the middle school and high school level, as well as both male and female participation within the total program. Both in the previous 2 years, both male and female numbers have increased with the comparative grade analysis, and you'll see that we have well over 1,000 athletes competing throughout the school year at the various levels, both male and female, with female athletes continuing to be a little bit more the majority of our athletes, which is a nice piece to our program. A little bit about the West Babylon Eagles when we talk about our athletic program. We are members of the New York State Public High School Athletic Association and Section 11. Section 11 is the governing body of athletics for Suffolk County. We adhere to all rules, guidelines, and regulations that are submitted by Suffolk County, and where we have to abide by those regulations, whether it's by student eligibility, whether it's by participation in postseason events, time commitments of games being replayed, deadlines of games, season deadlines. We must be in compliance by all those. Right now, as of New York State Public High School, there are 781 member schools. There are 600,000 student athletes and 35 state championships. So we have a huge number of athletes throughout the state that we compete against. Athletic events, a little difficult to see, but this slide gives you the exact number of contests that our student athletes compete throughout the previous year. You could see between 24 and 25 how many events and scrimmages that we actually competed. If I can, tough for me to see that, so I'm just going to pull that up. Just one of the notes, there were approximately 364 away contests. So you could see that when we divide them up, 364, 365, pretty comparable numbers, but with each home event and away event, there are some certain challenges. We'll discuss what goes into providing those athletic events. For our home events, you're able to see that when we do have a home event, whether it's be an individual event or multi-events in the same day, which are a lot, requires coordination within building grounds regarding facilities, field setups, securing officials for all of the games, assigning scorers, timers, coordinating security personnel in certain sports that are contact sports with the ambulance, the doctor, and the trainer, which must be on site during those games. When we schedule an away contest, we need to secure bus transportation at a reasonable time to be to and from our events. We need to secure building access when possible. That also includes night, weekends, and holidays, which has been a recent challenge, but we'll talk a little bit about that. We will notice that we had a total of 759 contests. I'm just going to go back to that. If you see those total number of contests, that's a lot of contests. If you figure there's 180 school days, if you break that down for the times we're not playing, the first week, the second week, the last 2 weeks at Regents, there's a lot of games, put into that time. So you said with 180 school days, that's a lot of events to put in. A little bit about our student achievement and highlights of our student athletes. In 2023-24, I usually don't like to read the slide, but you can see that we had 5 student athletes sign in. Oops, sorry about that. An actual NLI, which is a national of intent, which is a commitment to play on a scholarship level of a full, whether it's tuition or a full scholarship in various reasons. And then we also had 17 athletes committed to play college athletics. We did have, I'm sorry, we did also have 25 New York State Scholar Athlete teams in the 23-24, and then we also were a New York State School of Distinction, both in 24 and 25. What that means is that 75% of every team that we put on the field, or a court, or a mat, whether it's gymnastics, tumbling, cheer, 75% of those teams had a 90 or above average during their season, and that's tracked by our system, and New York State recognizes those athletes, and they're also recognized throughout the state by getting individual pins and certificates. West Babylon athletes, a little recap of last year. Athletes achieved all league, all conference, all county, all state, and all American honors. We had 8 teams qualify for the postseason, as well as 9 teams qualify as individuals to the postseason, such as track, which doesn't qualify as a team. We have individuals, we've had wrestlers, we've had gymnasts, we've had individual athletes besides our actual teams that can qualify as a team. A little bit of new programs. The new programs that we've implemented in the last 2 to 3 years. We did have, obviously, we now are part of our unified program in Section 11. That continues to grow. I know I see a couple things coming down the line in the future, whether it be, we have unified bowling, which is a mixture of unified students with our regular ed students, unified basketball, and I know I see, I believe unified bocce's coming down the pike, and also unified golf. So I think that's something we might see in the future. Our gymnastics team has been back in full-fledged and excelling at all levels with state competitors, and apologize for this mouse here. I think it's sticking on me. Okay, and our new addition of girls flag football, which is the hottest rage in, I think, Section 11 in New York State. The girls flag football numbers are taking off tremendously, and our JV girls flag football will be implemented. We had probably 39 kids on the varsity last year when we only could play 8 at a time, so it's a little bit difficult. And we, believe it or not, we do have a girls wrestling team that's merged with 5 other towns, that's hosted by another local school, and we've had one of the girls who was got some big-time state recognition and was a Suffolk County champion. Our Athletes Helping Athletes program is an addition to our athletic program. It's run by the assistant principal, Mr. Devane, and some of our physical education teachers at the high school. It's a great program for us. We've been in, I think, place probably a little bit after COVID, I believe is when it took place. And it's another piece for athletes to share leadership skills with the middle school level athletes from our high school athletes. So it's a nice piece. We did addition to new Huddle program, which is a software program which allows our teams to be highlighted and videoed for live competition. We're able to view it on our YouTube channel on our games, so we're able to see those live for grandparents and parents that aren't able to be at games. They could be in Florida, California. They can flip to our channel and watch their grandsons or granddaughters play live, which is a nice piece. Also, I hear a lot of parents get caught in the city if they're working in the city, and they're able to flip it on their phone and watch as they're coming along. So that's another piece for us. One of the missions of our athletic department, I always like to have like a mission or a vision when we're looking through this. Obviously, the mission is to provide the West Babylon student athletes with the best facilities, equipment, and uniforms. We compete against a lot of teams, and I know that people are out there always a constant comparison. Who's got the better uniforms? Who's got the better facilities? Who's got better equipment? So it is a constant comparison. Not as only competition with score, but it's a competition within the teams with and other people, communities see what we're all about. So we try to provide the best possible image moving forward. Obviously, there was a lot of preparation with that, which you'll see on the following slides. Facilities and equipment. Status of the athletic facilities. There's no secret we can try to improve our facilities. There's a lot of work to be done and to improve the facilities in the immediate future. So that's a long-range plan, but the plan will be in place and obviously shared with the district and the Board of Ed as we continue to try to improve our facilities throughout the district. Recent upgrades that you may have seen already. Right now, we just finished our new basketball units in the high school main gym with their electric winches. They were run by a drill. We did have 6 new main courts put in. We did have the original courts that were stamped 1964 on the top of the backboards, which was the original building. So we got 60 years out of them, which is it's a good run for the backboards. So I think we're going to donate them back to Hoosiers, and we'll be good. The new LED lighting has been reinstalled in both gyms. It was added to the perimeter of the gym where there was some dark lighting spots over the past the school year, but all the new LED lights are in. It's really brightening our gym. We did add new volleyball mounts in both high school gyms for our volleyball program, along with the new systems. We did have one gym is on a slab, one gym is in a crawl space, so we had almost what you call a coffee can filled with cement screwed to the bottom of the floor to hold the poles in. They eventually gave out. That was years of just patching it up. Right now we have state-of-the-art standards, so our poles will not fall through the floor like they did at one time last year. We have new dugouts that were donated by our softball booster club. They're outstanding. We also got a donation from somebody to add windscreen around that, so that's going to be a nice piece. The windscreen's been ordered, and looking forward to installing that during softball season. Immediate needs. What are immediate needs? Things that we think that can improve the program, exponentially over a short period of time. Weight room supervisors. This is a must to enhance participation in our athletic program and the overall wellness of our student body. We do not utilize our facility. We have a beautiful wellness facility. We also have a separate weight room that was not utilized after school for our entire student body. Most schools that we compete against have a facility that's open after school for athletes that are not in season, as well as in-season athletes that are off. Be an instance, if you're a baseball player in the spring, you don't play anything in the winter, you don't have anywhere to train unless you have your own gym membership, and other schools provide the open facility for the fall and winter athletes that train. We have people in there that are expertise in training. We have workouts of the day and things that could be part of our program, and I think that'd be a big addition, and we're exploring that, how we can make that work. Our reconditioning budget is being increased every year. We're going to talk a little bit about that, about including all cost. Reconditioning for uniforms is vital to the program. Uniforms these days are so expensive in order to get them. The reconditioning of as far as restitching things that are torn, re-cleaning them the right way at the end of the season, putting them away and restocking them saves us a lot of money and gets a lot more years in uniforms. So when you do it the right way, we get a lot more bang for our buck out of the uniforms. We know we do take uniforms for you. Those of you who have athletes, you send them home and you wash them on your own. Sometimes they don't come out. They get Clorox. They wash different things. So we need to make sure that we try to do the best that we can to keep these in play for a long time. Also, one of the immediate needs, I think, is branding. For those of you who are not familiar with branding, branding is basically signage and oversight of West Babylon, Eagles, Eagle Pride, blue and gold throughout the district. A lot of districts have it, windscreens all over the place, signage coming in, things that make the kids proud to be in there. We've started that. We have some. We can continue to increase that by putting our brand out there and making our facilities stand out a little bit brighter. And when people walk up, they know they're in West Babylon. So it's one of the things that will definitely increase the morale of our program. Immediate needs for this year. No surprise for us if you've been out to the tennis courts. They've been under constant duress because of the weather conditions in the Northeast. Once you get a little crack and you get the water gets within the crack from underneath, then winter comes in, they get a little bigger, they continue to increase, and they need to be repaired. We're currently working with Mike LaJudas and Facilities who have that going to be hopefully, excuse me, which way am I at? Which hopefully will be addressed soon. So we think that's going to be in the immediate near future to have that fixed. Future projects. We talk about future projects. It doesn't mean immediate needs. It's things that we see in the future for a long-range planning on where we should be and where we could be to compete with other schools. When you go to the other facilities, you walk around, people notice things as we have this, we don't have that. We want to make sure that we're providing the best we can. So future projects, things that we see are obviously field renovations for baseball and softball at the high school, turf replacement. They have a lifetime, I'm sorry about that. Life expectancy on certain turfs. Atlantic will tell. One of them's, I think, near our facility, lifespan. The other one's a couple years away. Wrestling room renovation, things that need to be done as far as safety. Mats need to be retested, and they get GMAX testing. And when those things are not meeting specifications, they need to be replaced. Both high school gyms totally restripped and repainted. We're coming up on the lifespan of that. Branding as we talk, not only for just individual fields, courts, gyms, throughout the district. Middle school tennis courts, I know there's a major renovation coming up. I know that's gonna be one of our, one of our projects, that the middle school tennis courts will be done. We did speak a little bit about the high school weight room renovation. We did have a great, PEP grant that was received for the district, and I think it was 2005, which was fully fundable at that time. I think it was a $500,000 grant for facilities throughout the district, and you had to spend it in certain areas. That 2005 is now 20 years old, so some of that equipment needs to be replaced in order to keep those rooms operating. High school tennis courts, as we mentioned, high school gyms being painted and wall padding. Middle school track is due for a resurfacing. Our track obviously is huge within the community. It's used constantly. We have plus our track team, which is incorporates well over 200 students a season with our boys and girls program. It gets a tremendous amount of use, and the track starts to flake and peel. It's constantly being patched and repaired, but eventually we're going to need a full surface replaced. And obviously a long-term goal would be the high school gym bleachers replaced. They would be in line with the 1964 backboards. They were the original bleachers. I know Miss Galante is cringing over there as she sees all these things. That, yeah.
We all are.
But again, I'm from the motto, if you don't ask, you don't get. So, yeah. A little bit about budget overview. We did talk, most of you saw if you followed the board meeting in April, we went over a more detailed look at the appropriation of funds within each budget code. This is just a little bit of what we see in the future on a daily basis. Official fees continue to increase. Continue to increase each year at 3%. Last year there was a 7% increase, which was a tremendous increase due to a official negotiation through Suffolk County because of the lack of officials that they can get. So in order to entice more officials, they up their pay, and hence the school districts within the Section 11 are all charged at a percentage of that. Facility and equipment rentals to continue to increase. Obviously that's a yearly expense. We did combine our swimming team now with the Deer Park this year, so we did eliminate a $12,000 pool rental fee for our swimmers, so that's a savings for us, and we'll continue to look at any ways that we can save in that area. Our professional services, laundry and Sanitec, those to continue to increase, but again, in the long run, if we take care of our materials and our uniforms, we'll keep them a lot longer. Sanitec is a company that comes in and sprays our gymnastics mats, wrestling mats, and any surfaces the kids constantly touch. It's sprayed with a microban and it lasts for 1 year. We do it in our locker rooms, and we do it on our mats. So we do that every year. Reconditioning our supplies is some part of our helmets and shoulder pads for football and lacrosse, baseball and softball. We can restart to add those reconditioning courses. What they do is they take the helmets in, they spray them, they clean them, they put padding in and it's missing, and they respray them all colors, and they're able to make the life of the equipment a lot longer. Athletic trainer, salaries and supplies. Obviously, the athletic trainer is a lifeline for us, so we need to make sure that we keep her going, and the supplies obviously now are always continuing to increase for a variety of reasons. A little bit of the challenges. This is always, challenges are any way that you want to look at it. Some could be good challenges, some could be tough challenges, but obviously our challenges, finances are always a big challenge, not only in the school district, but the athletic department. There's a lot of things that we provide for our student athletes that cost money. And a lot of things that the students provide for themselves cost money. If you have an athlete, you know how much sneakers cost, how much gear costs, how much lessons cost, all the other things that, that we don't have to pay for, but we pay, in a different way. It adds up to quite a bit. Facilities, field conditions and space, we need to continue to improve our field conditions. One of the things that we say with space, we're limited on space in the fall season. We did just lose OLOG, which is Our Lady of Grace, the fields in the fall. due to we thought wasn't appropriate for our student athletes to play on. So now we have to consume that team, our girls soccer program, back onto the fields at the high school, and we rotate them around with the boys at the middle school. So there's a lot more field space issues than we've had in the past. Building access, it is a challenge for us. As with the budget votes, we do not have access to the building on Saturdays, holidays, or vacations for our teams. It's a really big challenge in the winter, but it's also a challenge on the weekends and the holidays when the student athletes can't get in to prepare for upcoming contests. Our grounds crew, it's, we don't really have a huge grounds crew. We have a tremendous amount of grounds. At the high school, we have 17 acres, if that's the correct number I was given. We had to have one crew member, Christian, who does our grounds. He does a phenomenal job, but again, it's one man trying to keep 17 acres under control, and it's a lot for him. Middle school, our fields and grounds and with setups are done by our custodians. So that's usually done after school or during the school day. So, besides cutting the fields, mowing the fields, lining the fields, they're also setting up after school for our events. Off-site locations. It's always a challenge when you have an off-site location because we provide opportunities for our student athletes beyond the walls of the high school and our campus. Our golf teams obviously go to Sumpwams and also Bergen Point and travel when they can. We have swimming off-site, our bowling teams off-site, and our gymnastics teams are off-site. So we do have challenges with transporting them. Our shuttles to pick up our students and transport off-site, sometimes they're not able to get them there at the right times, so that's a challenge. Sometimes it must be, the parents might have to take their kids to the events, not events, but to the practices, because sometimes our shuttles are unable to do it just by sheer numbers of the drivers that we have. One of the other challenges is maintaining programs. And programs, obviously, the numbers, some programs are booming. I think it's a hit or miss. When I think teams get successful, I think more kids join for that. I've also seen, the opposite. I've seen when teams get successful, kids don't go out for the team. They say, they're too good, I can't play at that level. So, it works in reverse, but we need to try to make sure we're reaching as many students as we can, and we try to keep those numbers up. So maintaining programs so we don't lose programs, is a challenge. One of the challenges is that in the spring sports, we have girls flag football, which is huge right now, and it's big throughout Suffolk County and New York State. So you'll see a lot of those numbers, girls gravitating to that, and you'll lose numbers from whether it could be girls lacrosse, could be softball, it could be girls track. You'll see girls gravitate to that because the numbers will definitely increase in those areas. Another challenge is maintaining coaches. Coaches, it's very difficult to keep coaches for a long time, whether it's burnout, whether it's other factors, whether it's young coaches that are, moving on and not staying here for a long time. We've had turnover numbers in the past 2 years. We've had 56 coaches turned over, and since 2023-24, that's a lot of coaches. You saw that the sheer numbers of coaches that we had. So 56 is a big term. With that, I do try to track how many in-house coaches. We've increased it dramatically. We now have 72% of our coaches that within the district are in-house people, which is nice. So it's a lot better to have in-house people working with our kids. They have more invested and they have more of a connection with our student athletes. Last thing, obviously, is salaries. Salaries are, whether we like to say it or not, it's always it's an issue because people that aren't our in-house people can look around in neighboring districts. They get paid a little more here, a little there. They check out all these, and they go other places, same as anybody else would. So it's a challenge to keep competitive with our salaries and keep competitive coaches. Goals and strategic priorities. Obviously one of the goals is increased numbers at all time. We have a lot of students here in West Babylon, and as many people are involved, obviously, is the better. We like to keep as many athletes involved in our programs. However, sometimes the programs are limited as far as, indoor facilities, as court space, teams, how many numbers can dictate being effectively watched by our coaching staff. But we do want to still expand our existing programs. We need to reevaluate struggling programs because some programs are hurting. Sometimes the demographics of a district change over years at a time, and sometimes just the programs just don't promote themselves, but it's something to be looking at. We do have participation numbers tracked every year from the state in every sport at every level, and I do have those available then when we look at those programs. Obviously, increased community engagement at the youth levels. I've been here for 2 years. I see one of that as a weakness within the district, that we don't have enough connection with our community groups at the youth level. So there's not enough connection with our, say, youth football to the middle school to the high school, just not enough connection where kids are coming. I know there are some programs that are strong, but I think overall, I think we have a lot where we can grow in that. We also want to provide an opportunity for participation, as well as promote the opportunity for individual and team excellence. It's nice that we can provide an opportunity for youth, for young athletes, but we also want to provide them a chance to excel in their areas and work, because some of our student athletes are extremely motivated. Another priority that's not listed here is that we do actually look to secure a full-time athletic trainer that is employed by West Babylon. We currently have one from an agency. It's able to create a smooth, position to enhance safety of our student athletes. Many districts have already gone to this model, and it seems to be working for a lot of schools where we have continuity within our program, and they track our athletes from 7th through 12. My last slide before we move on with a couple other things. I always like to refer to this as kind of something that I like to always visualize. In the many years that I've been working in high school athletics, and this is, believe it or not, my 39th year in high school athletics, I always like to go back to the main vision. Are we creating something that people want to be a part of? Are we creating an environment that's rewarding not only for the athletes, for the coaches, the coaching staff, the school community, and West Babylon district entirely? It's something that needs to be a priority for the entire district to effectively make these programs succeed. So I always go back to envision, is it creating something that our kids want to be a part of? So it's always in the back of our mind. It's a question that when we meet with certain coaches or certain programs, are we creating something that kids want to come out? And obviously, it's a point of emphasis that we need to make sure that we improve in that area. With that, I open up any questions or discussion items from a Board of Education, anything I can answer with you. And
Question on the weight room and the fitness room.
Yes.
You had mentioned utilizing that better. What would that require? Would that be a fitness coach that would set up a schedule, alternating days?
it would be a
or-
stipend position after school. They can maintain it depending on how we arrange it. Could be from immediately after school from 2:30 to 4:30. They would have the workout of the day in there, depending on the sport of the athlete. Some of the athletes would come with their own workout and say, I'm working for this. If the athletic trainer has somebody who's a return to play, whether it's a knee injury, a shoulder injury, she could give them their exercises to do within that facility, and then we'd be able to utilize that for the entire time and open to every student within the district.
Right. Is it utilized now at all by any coaches? Like when a practice gets canceled because of weather,
Yes.
are they
Yeah,
utilizing
it's
it?
utilized within, but it's not utilized by the general student body at all.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's only open to the students because they need to be supervised by a coach.
Right, right.
Yep.
Okay.
Just a quick question. Looking at the goals and strategic priorities, you say reevaluate struggling programs. Which programs do you consider to be the struggling programs of the athletic program?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say right now, but I would say where numbers are lacking. As far as youth programs, not promoting the numbers to the next level. So that's something to visualize. Like I said, sometimes the demographics. I know some programs just can't succeed. Different programs throughout the county. Gymnastics has been struggling forever. I think there's now 12 teams left in Suffolk County. Boys gymnastics has totally gone away. Swimming for individuals, because a lot of schools are getting away from the pools, insurance options, so they're independent. There are a lot of programs that you have to look at if it's financially sustainable for you over the future. Welcome.
Along the same lines, you had mentioned earlier, when you add a program, you then have a population shift. And I've seen in situations where, as in one example, we have a varsity and a JV, with just only no bench players on a varsity team, but yet we have a JV team. At what point do you flip it and say, maybe we just need one solid team?
We've done that twice, right? We've done that with the girls' soccer team.
Yeah.
We tried to, we put in Section 11, we scheduled the team just in case we had the numbers. We didn't have as many girls return
Right.
from the middle school, so we do have a varsity. So you need to make sure that you usually have at least a team and a half, because obviously kids get hurt and,
Right.
and
Right.
injuries. But you want to be able to have an effective practice too with, so you can scrimmage against each other on a daily basis, so.
Right, so there shouldn't be a varsity team where there's just no bench. There should be backups, is what we would say.
Correct, yep.
Is there a limit on the number of students that could be on a team in any of the sports?
No,
Okay.
No, I mean, there are some that keep high numbers because they don't put a JV program on,
Right.
so it's really developmental, and
Gotcha.
you'd be able to get scrimmages and coordinate scrimmages for those athletes that aren't good enough to play at that level, but they get enough playing time where they develop over the course of the year, and by the end, they are able to play at that level.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
In terms of the community engagement, I tried to kind of look around at other school districts and how they put that information out there. Some have it on their website. Is there any other way that you think as a school district we can kind of help facilitate
Well, I
community
will tell you that,
engagement?
you know, obviously a community bulletin board would be great on our website where they offer our flyers for our youth programs, whether it's baseball, softball, lacrosse, football. And I know there's a monetary fee, so we don't like to send that out within the community, but it's somewhere maybe if we do a community page, we're not asking the kids to pay, but if they're able to do that, I know some programs are more expensive than others, but we did try to send as much information as you can, but that would be huge for us. And it's also the programs within the community that need to make sure they publicize it the right way. I know, for instance, one of the communities where I lived and worked, they had our soccer. They always put the soccer flyers everywhere I saw them until one side of the town didn't get those soccer flyers because they only put them up in one area. So you're losing almost 50% of your population in that sport. So you need to be cognizant of where you're recruiting your kids from within your boundaries. So I think that would be important. You're welcome.
Is that part of the communication with the local sports teams that you were talking
Yes,
about?
yeah, and I think that's important to start working on getting that. I was actually had someone who was going to be an intern with me last year, and that was going to be my project for him. And but he went on and he's at Adelphi University. But we thought he was going to be a good piece for us to start putting that together.
Part of the, on the new website, right, kind of the core bones of it, we had them include an area where it'll basically indicate kind of information from the community, with a disclosure that, the flyers, the district isn't necessarily endorsing, right, that you should join this or you should join that, but to have kind of a hub, right, for, all of these different flyers, whether it's the little leagues, right, or the soccer or softball or cheerleading, kind of anything from the community, right? The town of Babylon is doing XYZ at this park, right? They're flying kites for, right? So both not-for-profit and for-profit, but an area where our community, our WB community, can go to the website and find all of that information in one spot. That's
And
there will be a spot in the new website for that.
and I know that I'm the advocate for the athletic department, but obviously it could be used for Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, all the
Yes.
other
Yeah,
organizations that
definitely.
people don't always get that information.
they don't.
And
And they're desperately, they call
Right.
our office all the time saying,
correct, and just
we
looking
don't
for
have the
something.
numbers.
Summer camps, they're looking for something for their students to do.
Yeah, definitely.
Does, another question. I struggle with how to ask this because I know there's really no way for it to come out right, but just to clarify. How do you find the balance between, is there a balance between I view school athletics as being focused on being competitive more so than, let's say, outside, local leagues, youth center sports.
Correct.
But there is also that level of, well, a lot of people are interested, so we need to add teams. And we
Correct.
keep doing that. And I've been a part of that as well. At what point is that maybe not the right route? Because you mentioned supplying our teams with the best equipment, best uniforms. And we've added teams, yet had a cheerleading team with parents sewing their uniforms.
Correct.
How do you balance between saying, well, we can have as many teams because a lot of interest, but are we going to be any more competitive?
Well,
on a
that's,
high school level?
that goes back to one of the things I said right here at the end was provide the opportunity for participation, as well as promote the opportunity for individual and team excellence. So
Right.
we just don't want to always kind of provide. We have, I hate to say, at the middle school, we have intramurals for that.
Right,
A lot
right.
of
That's
kids
my
can
point.
join other clubs, but,
Right.
we need to be competitive at the same time and equate how competitive we're going to be with the programs that we offer.
Okay. So so there, even though you add a team, would you say that there's, at least at the high school level, there is still a tryout aspect
Correct.
to the teams? It's
Correct.
not an intramurals level.
Correct,
It's not
and and the numbers are evaluated. As participation numbers, we'll evaluate them with the central office and make some recommendations this year moving forward too, as far as
Okay.
programs and teams.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Questions? No.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you for the
Mr.
opportunity to
Pate.
share
Thank you.
The athletic department,
Thank
and
you.
thank you for the visit tonight.
Surprise.
No problem.
Surprise. Yes, we are
Okay.
good. Yes, thank you.
Statements of residents on agenda items only. Residents wishing to share a statement. Residents must state their name, address, and any organization they represent. They should also write this information on an index card and give it to the Assistant Superintendent of Finance and Operations. Comments about individual students or employees are not permitted. Each resident will have up to 3 minutes to speak, with a total of 15 minutes allotted. Responses will be given after all statements. Questions needing further research will be addressed at the next meeting. Any statement of residents on agenda items only? Nope. None at this time. Okay. Need a motion to approve the consent agenda. Steve, Kathy, all those in favor? Good. Okay. No. Okay, motion passes. We need a motion to adopt policy 8113 as written. Katie, Patty, all those in favor? Okay, that's everyone. Okay, need a motion to consolidate policy 1405 into new policy 0130, district complaint procedures. Patty, Kathy, all those in favor? That's everyone. Okay, any old business?
So, new business. Do you want to chat about,
New business?
remember we talked about new
New.
business,
New business, old
adopting
problem.
different,
Yeah, I thought
adopting in
Yeah.
different areas.
that we could propose allowing residents and employees to adopt certain small areas of the school grounds where they would maintain them. And I gave you an example of the business office. We put up a nice new sign. It's in a planter. The planter is overgrown with weeds. It just doesn't look great. When the kids come to school, when teachers, employees come to school, the better the place looks, I think the better you perform. And I thought maybe we could, like, I took an interest in that little spot. And I said, I'd put some flowers in there, some mulch, clean it up, maintain it. Not during school hours, of course. And I just wanted to see if that would fly with the union, with the insurance,
Like a structured areas
Yeah,
coordinated throughout
right.
the district.
So,
like adopt the
just
spots. Yeah.
adopt the spot. Not necessarily putting up a sign,
Thank you, Steve, for that.
Right, exactly. Just not putting up a sign and taking credit for anything, but just
Yep.
done to help enhance the aesthetics
No, absolutely.
of the building, whether it's a planter or just pulling some weeds, throughout the district.
Did the sign last year, the employees nice and hold, like the sign for the high school, a lot of compliments.
Well, we've had Eagle Scouts projects too, and some clubs
Yep,
take
same
an
thing.
area.
And
Yeah,
sometimes the
there's
fifth grade gift, leaving a
Yes.
school, they've taken over the big flower boxes
Yep,
in the
and
front of
a
the
bench,
buildings. I
and
think it's
this,
kind of
and
hard to
then-
ask.
But actually
residents,
create
but
spots,
hopefully they could
like
do-
actual
Well, it'd be a
structured
volunteer.
system of
Right.
spots.
Right.
Where people, we have these available, we have these available, we have
Because
these.
we can't just let them just take any spot
Yeah.
and start
No,
planting
it would have to, I
flowers.
was just kind of whispering with Chris, right?
Maybe
It would have to be organized, right? Like where we would,
Right.
communicate, and if it's a small area, right?
Communicate with grounds folks.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I love it, especially that kid just did all that nice work at the junior high, the sign, like to keep that maintained, with the flowers going. I
Yeah.
love that.
And the alumni is working in the courtyard at the high school.
Right.
Yes.
And
That came out really
it
Yeah, it
really
came
nice.
out
Steven
great.
Strauss
Yeah.
did a great job for his Eagle Scout project.
Several different Eagle Scouts projects throughout
Have
the district
taken
that have
place,
just been
yes.
phenomenal.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. So if the board is okay with that, we can definitely kind of brainstorm, a little bit on how other districts, formalize that process.
I
You
would
have
love
your
more
spot,
detail.
Mr. M.
So there's probably some things we have to maybe
Yeah, there's some kind of
explore,
logistical.
contractual
yeah.
things and obligations.
Again, as
But-
long as it's small spots and it's not, here's a piece, right? So just also in terms of kind of, I'll call it order of operations, right? So obviously we had summer school in terms of going on. Now in particular, when you look at the last 2-3 weeks of August, right, it is literally all hands on deck on the inside and the classrooms and all those pieces, right? And now in the next couple of days, then they're gonna shift in terms of the outside, right? So it's the finishing of the stripping of the floors. Our board started tonight, our annual board building walkthroughs, right? We did the senior high school this evening. Tomorrow, we're doing a couple of buildings, and then the following evening, you know, we're doing a few more, right? So we're seeing obviously the work, right, that our buildings and grounds team has done to get our buildings prepared. But towards the end of this week, then definitely the focus then also shifts to the outside, you know, to some of those areas,
Which would be
definitely.
too late to plant flowers. This is all.
Yeah, yeah. But in terms of some cleanup, yeah.
Marigolds.
Yeah, so we'll talk a little bit more of the, we talked about marigolds.
It's gotta be a lot of, West Babylon, it's gotta be
Talked about, yeah.
a lot of tulips. right?
Absolutely. So we'll dive into it, you know, it seems like everyone is okay with that, right? We'll explore how other districts, you know, formulate that process, and we'll take it from there. Okay? All right, that was it for new business.
I have a question, actually. I know last year we kind of talked about, or we touched on, and now that schedules are out, on kids and the study halls. I was just wondering, is there a way we can get some kind of a printout that shows what electives ended up being offered, how many students are in each, and what the total max is because I'm sure every elective has a different number of kids.
Yeah, we
that
could
can-
definitely, I would say that I would wait so maybe like middle of September to end of September, right? We can definitely do, you know, a printout, right, of each of the courses, how many students are enrolled in all of them. We can definitely do that.
Yeah,
We
I
can
was
do that
just
for both
curious how
buildings,
that panned out, because I know we were trying to get more kids at the study halls, so.
Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
we'll definitely do that.
And
Is
if we
that
could-
of interest of the whole group?
Yeah, and if we could
so
add
we'll consider that.
anything offered last year, that's not offered this year.
Yeah,
Anything offered last year that was not offered this year as a result of maybe enrollment numbers?
enrollment,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, enrollment based, right?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, we can definitely do that.
Okay.
Sure.
Good.
All right, that's it.
Okay. Statement of residence. Residents wishing to share a statement must state their name, address, and any organization they represent. They should also write their information on an index card and give it to the Assistant Superintendent for Finance and Operations. Comments about individual students or employees are not permitted. Each resident will have up to 3 minutes to speak, with a total of 15 minutes allotted. Responses will be given after all statements. Questions needing further research will be addressed at the next meeting. Any statements of residence? None at this time. Okay. What's that? Oh, yeah.
Just would like to take a moment to congratulate. I know in our audience, we have 3 of our newly appointed WB family members. We have Jinsal, we have Gianna, and we have Emma in the audience, I believe. So congratulations and welcome. Looking forward to working with you all.
All right. No, I feel like, it doesn't seem right. I just end this whole
I
thing. with that.
know.
Congratulations. Motion to, oh, what does that say? Motion to adjourn. No, there's a post-exec.
If needed.
Motion to adjourn. Frank, Anthony, all those in favor? It's 2 hands. Okay. We're all set.
All right, have a good night,
Thank you ver-
everyone.
thank you very
Thank you
much.
for being here.